Good afternoon, CrossFitters. This is Coach Matt with our Wednesday workout. Let's begin with our warm-up. 3 rounds through, start with 10 calories of your choice, row, bike, or ski, and then I want you to go to the ground for some seated hip swivels. We liken the seated hip swivel. This is similar to our alternating arm, like twists, right? Your ball and socket in the hip has rotational stability muscles the same way that your rotator cuff operates. Not exactly the same, obviously, because you don't have a shoulder blade in your butt, but you do have rotator muscles that stabilize your hip, and those are the ones that we want to maintain function of. As we age, your ability to rotate your hip goes down if you don't continue to operate the hip. So we are never going to give up on doing these, even if it's sore and sticky and you have to like break the cartilage free and all the little fuzz connections in the fascia. But we're going to keep doing these hip swivels, and then you can just rock forward into the bottom of a squat and just kind of rock around for 15 seconds or so. Stretch out the hips, the ankles, the low back, all that good stuff. Next, we're going to go into Cossack squats. So if you want to, you can just kick one foot out from there and then move right into your Cossack squats. But try to keep your heels on the ground when we do these. Try not to let your ball of the foot contact the ground and the heel come up. That takes away from the stretch in the hip when we do that. And then lastly, we're going to do some warm-up back squats, but we're going to keep the reps relatively low because I want you to save all of your energy for our kamikaze squats. When we get to the workout, and make sure you go up in weight as we go through our 3 warm-up sets up to your 55 to 65% for your kamikaze squat. So the way this will work is, it doesn't really matter on the clock what time you start. What matters is the feel of the movement, right? So I'm getting, and if you've done these before, I want you to either go up in weight or try to get more reps at the same weight, right? So I'm getting to like 15, 16 reps and I'm starting to slow down a little bit. And that's when I know it's time to put the bar back in the rack. Look at the clock. I see exactly 1 minute on the clock and I'm back underneath the bar, even though I don't want to be because I'm still fatigued. My muscles haven't recovered yet. My heart's still beating a little quick, but I'm going and doing these moderate to light reps. Again, when I start to slow down, I feel like I got 1 or 2 reps left in the tank. That's when I walk the bar back into the rack, and I'm just keeping total count cumulatively on how many squats I've done until I get to a total of 60 reps. All right, so this is the 3rd and final progression of our kamikaze squats. So we've done this for 40, we've done it for 50, now we're doing it for 60, and this will be the last time that we do it for this cycle. So the goal would be, as we go through these kamikaze squats, that in the beginning sets, you're able to do more reps before you hit that fatigue point, and that the whole thing is done quicker, even though we're doing a larger number of reps, all right? That's kind of the progression that we're looking for with the kamikaze squats. This is fantastic for muscle endurance, but also for mental toughness. And a lot of times when I restrict you by saying it's 4 sets of 8, or it's 4 sets of 5, or we got a 4, 3, 2, 1, it is easier to get away from the intended stimulus, which is the last few reps should be really tough. And when I just take the lid off and just say, go do your squats, do them until you can't do them anymore, you might get a better effect out of that than a very specific rep count and a very specific percentage. It's one of those sort of old bro science things that has turned into the actual new science of muscle physiology, which is that you have to get near failure in order to achieve some type of adaptive change in the muscles. And if you're just locked into this, I'm doing 4 by 8, I'm hitting my percentage, and then I'm gonna walk away. And whether it's hard or whether it's like impossible or whether it's too easy, we just say like, I did it, I accomplished the mission because I did my 4 sets of 8. And I'm throwing that out for these kamikaze squats and trying to get you to take more responsibility and feeling out of this, in that like, if I don't get to that little like panic sensation of I might not be able to stand this squat up, then we're probably not going to make as good a progress as if we do get to that fatigue and failure point at a relatively regular frequency, okay? So that's the goal for today, is those kamikaze squats, getting 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, 1 minute rest, and then right back into it until we get to a total of 60. There's no superset because there's no time for a superset on this one, so it is over a little bit quicker than our normal squat sets, but it should be a very challenging event. When you get done with that, you need some pull-up stuff set up. So we're gonna do 3 sets of strict pull-ups, 8, 6, and 4. I would like them to get progressively more challenging. So if you do 8 reps of a pull-up and you have the bands in a very specific combination, maybe you have like a black and a blue one, and you got them at this like 35th hole off the ground, I want you to make it harder, even if it's very small, very small amount. Make it harder for the set of 6, make it harder for the set of 4. If you're doing like a weighted pull-up, like with the chain around your waist and a kettlebell or a series of weights, make that progressively heavier, just the same way that we do our weightlifting. I want you to do the same for our hanging bodyweight movement. Whatever you do, we'll do a set of 8, set of 6, set of 4, shortish rest, like 2-ish minutes rest in between each set. And then we're going into a timed segment where we're doing lighter and faster. So everybody's setting up jumping pull-ups. So for me, this would be a good one. It's about, it's closer to my wrist than it is to my elbow, which means it's a little bit harder, but you can set it up. Like if I wanted to make this easier, I just put a plate underneath me to make my jump a little bit easier. But we're doing 21, 15, 9 of a burpee ground to overhead with a plate. So for this one, the burpee is going to be, or my hands can stay underneath the plate if I want them to. It makes it a little bit faster if I do that. If you want to take your hands out from underneath because you don't want to squish your knuckles, that's fine too. But we'll start with the plate on the ground. I'm going down, I'm touching my chest to the plate, feet up, and then overhead, right? Back to the ground, chest to the plate, feet up, and overhead, okay? So again, if you want to just drop it to the ground, you can put your hands outside. You only have to touch your chest to the plate on these ones. But if I do this, then I have to kind of grab it every single time, and it takes me a little bit longer to do it, which some of you guys might be appreciative of, right? And then I go over to my jumping pull-ups. So I set my height earlier, same number, 21, 15, and 9. All right, so it should be a relatively short, a little bit high intensity workout, but a good way to finish up from our kamikaze squats. All right, have a great one, everybody, and I'll see you on Thursday.